Hey everyone, it's me, Dallas, and I am here to do the season 1 wrap up of Chasing Diamonds vlog. I have been doing more blogs lately, but it's the end of the season of this series, so I thought I would do a video vlog instead. So, first, I just want to start by thanking everybody who has written, has wanted to read, will watch this video and then read. I appreciate the support for this venture because it is a departure from One Day at a Time. And this type of project is a lot of fun for me to write because it is such a departure from my usual One Day at a Time writing. So I really enjoy sort of going into a new world and creating, the drama that is. On a similar note, it's nice that I am really far ahead on One Day at a Time. That it allows me to do these projects. It was very similar when I did Pender Island a couple of years ago. I was far ahead, and it just gave me, another creative outlet to do. So, yeah, I'm really happy with season 1. It was a lot of fun to write, and season 2 is coming, and I hope you guys will like that too. If I wanted to touch on some of the highs and lows from season 1 Chasing Diamonds, highs, really Cole and Celeste and that storyline, episodes 1 through 6, I think, really stood out in terms of how they met, and then finding out that she's engaged to Cole's father, Mac, and then and that happened at the engagement party, and then the wedding, and then the storm right after where they ended up having sex, and then Mac almost catching them in bed. I love those scenes. I don't think the storyline archetype was anything new per se, but it was definitely a fun story to tell. And that storyline archetype has been done so many times in so many different soap operas and shows. But it was fun doing my own little spin on it. Another highlight for me would be the relationship between Lex and Jarek. Just, I love that Lex knows who he is as a gay man, but is so desperate to keep the peace in the family and make sure the company is doing well before he maybe unsettles things at home. So I really like that. The character of Lex in general was a lot of fun to write. He really doesn't let loose around his family. He's very uptight. He's very driven to make sure he's doing everything he can to make Mac proud. And the ironic thing about this is that he's not really Mac's son, despite him being the most like Mac business-wise and, so desperate to seek that approval. So I love that angle of the Lex storyline as well. Another highlight for me was when Lydia drugged Lex to get his proxy. To me, it just showed how far Lydia is willing to go to get what she wants. Like a woman really desperate, actually. And then the final high that I had would have been just the season 10, or episode 10, season 1 finale. I thought the last 3 scenes were really strong cliffhanger scenes for the storylines to make people sort of want to read season 2. I won't spoil it in case not everyone has read it yet, but yeah, I was really impressed by my cliffhangers. Some of the lows, the character of Lucinda quickly became one of my favorites to write. She really wasn't featured a ton, but that being said, she was always sort of meant to be a supporting player. But I do, in retrospect, wish that I had used her a little bit more. On another note, I think the lack of interaction between Kent and Houston, in retrospect, maybe was a downside. I think those two interacting a lot more could have maybe developed both of their characters a little bit more. Obviously, one of the main reasons I didn't do that was I was trying to do a surprise reveal when Stacy realized that Houston was a Blackmore. The surprise itself really fell flat, only in the sense that, character bios were out, people knew the name before the series even had its first episode out. So it wasn't a huge shock, but to Stacy it was a shock, and so that's why I sort of didn't have more interactions with them, but I wish that I had, actually. And then I do just want to touch base on a low point that was brought to my attention by Michael Ross, who writes and created Footprints, and he commented on the forum that season 1 is a very isolated season in terms of there are no scenes with other characters other than the people on the series. And in retrospect, I was sort of rereading, and I totally appreciate those comments. To me, it was done on purpose, in the sense that I was really, really trying to go for the primetime feel of the series. And if I had Cole, say hypothetically have a BFF, all they would be talking about would be what would be transpiring in the next scene anyways. So I just felt, in terms of keeping the cast minimal, keeping the episodes shorter, if you will, not to have any outsiders. And I like that. I mean, I feel like on a daytime show like One Day at a Time, often you will see people, like a whole scene is just two friends or two family members interacting about what's going on in their life. And it's not really, it doesn't necessarily move the storyline from point A to point B. It's a lot more about sort of maintaining relationships and people supporting each other and family time. So, on a daytime show, I feel like that's a little bit more important than this sort of like quicker paced primetime show. And so season 2 is a lot more of the same. It's just the characters on the series, and that's who they interact with, and so that's a season 2 spoiler, I guess. So since I've done my highs and lows, speaking of season 2, the setup is very similar to season 1 in terms of 10 episodes, about the same length per episode. Again, the cast just sort of interacts with one another. Some more spoilers that I can give you. Season 2 does pick up immediately where season 1 ends. There's no lag in time at all. We do have a new character coming on. Her name is Vivian Blackmore. She's Houston's mother. So she will create a lot of drama on the series. And another spoiler is the truth about Lex's paternity does come out in season 2. So you'll have to keep reading to find out how that all plays out. And so here's the announcement. Season 2 will start on November 11th. I chose November 11th because season 1 started June 6th, so it was 6/6/16, and so season 2 will start 11/11/16. On November 11th is a Friday, so episode 1 will come out the Friday, episode 2 will come out Monday, and then Mondays will be the regular release schedule like this season. And I think after the 3rd episode comes out, it'll be episode 3, and the entire season will be available online for the binge readers. So, if you haven't finished reading, I hope this sort of inspires you to read. If you have read, again, thank you so much. Leave me any comments that you might have here on the YouTube page or on the APN forum. I'll leave the link below. Thanks.